She looked me in the eyes, trembling, and told me she had been intimate with her ex-boyfriend 1 week earlier, while we were together. But here's the thing that's tearing me apart. She came to me immediately after. She confessed everything without me even asking. She owned it completely. No excuses, no justification. Just raw honesty and devastating regret. And now I'm stuck with an impossible question. Should I forgive the person who broke my heart, but had the courage to tell me the truth? Stay until the end, because this decision is harder than you think.
When I first met her, it felt like something real was starting between us. She had this gentle, honest energy that completely drew me in. There was a lightness about her, a warmth that made me feel like I'd known her forever. From the very beginning, she was open with me about her past. She told me she had just come out of a 2-year relationship, and I really appreciated that transparency. No games, no hidden history, just honesty. She explained that she was never really sure if she'd been truly in love with her ex. He was sweet, he was perfect on paper, he checked all the boxes that society tells you matter, but something was missing. She kept trying, kept hoping it would click, even when deep down she felt it probably never would. Eventually, she ended it. She told me he hadn't been emotionally present. He wasn't good at showing love. He was there physically, but emotionally he was somewhere else entirely. And then she met me, and suddenly she said things felt light again. She was happy. She was excited about someone for the first time in a long time. That feeling was mutual. I felt it too. We had something real starting to build between us. But then everything got messy. Her ex came back into the picture, and he came back completely different. He started showing up with flowers, a giant teddy bear, long handwritten letters telling her he finally understood how much he loved her, how he'd taken her for granted, how he changed, how he was ready to be the partner she'd always needed him to be. And it messed with her head. She told me she still wanted to be with me, that she was happy with me, but I could see it was starting to shake her foundation. This was someone she'd spent 2 years trying to love, and now he was suddenly becoming everything she'd wanted him to be during their relationship. The timing was cruel.
At first, she really tried to keep him at a distance. She was committed to us. She told him we were together. She told him to move on. But he kept pushing, kept showing up, kept telling her they were meant to be together, that he'd do anything to make it work this time, that he'd finally become the man she deserved. And slowly, I could see her getting more confused, more torn. She told me she felt trapped between the past and the present. She was afraid she was hurting both of us by not being able to choose. The guilt of that uncertainty was eating her alive. She told me later, after everything happened, that she felt so overwhelmed, so lost. She thought maybe the only way to figure out what she really wanted was to spend one last day with him, to see how it made her feel, to get closure one way or another. She didn't mean for it to go the way it did. She had convinced herself it would just be a conversation, a final goodbye to that chapter of her life.
But it spiraled. She got caught up in all the feelings of familiarity and safety he brought back. The same safety and emotional connection she'd wanted from him for 2 entire years. He was finally giving her what she'd begged for during their relationship. And in a moment of weakness and confusion, she gave in. They slept together. 1 week later, she came to me. It was the first opportunity we had to see each other in person after it happened. She looked me straight in the eyes, trembling, barely able to get the words out, and told me everything. She didn't try to justify it. She didn't make excuses. She didn't blame him or the situation or her confusion. She just told me how awful she felt, how wrong it felt even as it was happening, how she immediately knew it was a mistake. She said I was who she wanted, that she had finally been falling in love again with me, until her ex pulled her back into a dream she no longer believed in, a dream of who he could have been, not who he actually was. I couldn't handle it, not in that moment. It shattered something inside me, the trust I'd built, the vision of our future together. It all came crashing down in an instant. But at the same time, even through my pain, I could see the agony she was in. I could tell she hated what she'd done, not just for hurting me, but because it went against everything she believed in. She told me she'd been cheated on before, multiple times. She knew exactly what this pain felt like from the other side. And now she'd become the person she swore she'd never be. The person who inflicted that same devastating pain on someone else. The guilt was destroying her. She broke it off with him completely after that, told him it was over for good, that what happened was a mistake and it could never happen again. But he still wouldn't leave her alone. He kept reaching out, kept trying to convince they belonged together. And she was stuck dealing with that harassment while also carrying the crushing weight of what she'd done to me. Now she's convinced that no one will ever trust her again. She's afraid she ruined her one shot at something real. She asks herself constantly if she's a terrible person, if she'll ever deserve love again, if she's broken beyond repair. But here's what's eating me alive. I don't think she's awful. I really don't. I think she got completely lost, torn between old pain, old dreams, and a manipulative ex who knew exactly how to play on her heart. He knew her vulnerabilities. He knew what buttons to push, and he pushed every single one of them at a moment when she was already emotionally fragile. She made a terrible choice. There's no denying that. What she did was wrong. It hurt me in ways I'm still trying to process. But she owned it immediately. She didn't let me find out through someone else. She didn't trickle-truth me. She didn't gaslight me or try to minimize what happened. She came to me, knowing it would probably end us, and told me the whole truth anyway. And that's what makes this so impossibly hard, because part of me wants to walk away and never look back, to protect myself from ever being hurt like this again, to cut my losses and find someone who won't put me in this position. That would be the safe choice, the logical choice, the choice most people would tell me to make. But another part of me sees someone who made a mistake in a moment of profound confusion and manipulation. Someone who immediately recognized it as a mistake. Someone who valued honesty over self-preservation. Someone who's now punishing herself far more harshly than I ever could. I keep asking myself, what is forgiveness worth? Is it only for small mistakes, for convenient betrayals that don't cut too deep? Or is real forgiveness supposed to be hard, supposed to require us to see beyond the action to the person underneath? To recognize that humans are flawed and complicated, and sometimes make devastating choices when they're lost. I think about the fact that she was manipulated by someone who had 2 years of intimate knowledge about how to manipulate her. I think about how he weaponized his sudden transformation against her at her most vulnerable moment. I think about how she was honest with me when she could have easily kept it secret, and I might never have known. But I also think about the trust that's been broken, about whether I could ever fully trust her again, about whether I'd spend the rest of our relationship waiting for the other shoe to drop, about whether forgiveness would make me a compassionate person or just someone too afraid of being alone to demand better. I think she's not broken beyond redemption. I think she's human, someone who wanted love so badly she got swept away by the wrong version of it one last time. Someone who confused familiarity with destiny. Someone who learned the hardest possible lesson about the difference between what we think we want and what we actually need. The question I can't answer is whether that's enough, whether understanding why something happened makes it forgivable, whether her immediate honesty and genuine remorse outweigh the betrayal itself, whether love is supposed to be unconditional enough to survive this, or whether boundaries are more important than second chances. Right now, I'm stuck in this space between anger and compassion, between the desire to protect myself and the desire to believe in redemption, between the person who wants to walk away with my dignity intact and the person who wonders if walking away from someone who showed genuine accountability is its own kind of mistake. She's asked me if I can forgive her, and honestly, I don't know. Some days I think I can. Some days I imagine us working through this and coming out stronger on the other side, building something even more honest and resilient because we survived the worst thing that could happen to us. Other days I think I'm just making excuses for someone who hurt me, that I'm romanticizing her honesty when the real issue is the betrayal itself, that I'm confusing my fear of losing her with actual love worth fighting for. So I'm asking you, should I forgive her?
Not because she deserves it necessarily, but because I might deserve the peace that comes with forgiveness. Or is forgiveness in this situation just another word for accepting less than I deserve? Is this a story about redemption and second chances, or is it a story about someone who needs to love themselves enough to walk away? I don't have the answer yet. Maybe some of you have been in similar situations. Maybe you chose forgiveness and it worked. Maybe you chose forgiveness and regretted it. Maybe you walked away and never looked back. Maybe you walked away and always wondered, what if?
If this story resonated with you, if you've struggled with this same impossible choice, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below and tell me what you would do. Should I forgive her? Would you? Have you been in a situation where someone broke your trust but showed genuine remorse? How did you handle it? I genuinely want to hear your perspectives because I'm still trying to figure this out myself. We share real relationship stories like this every week. Stories about love, betrayal, forgiveness, and all the complicated gray areas in between. If you want to see more content like this, visit our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Remember, there's rarely a clear right answer when it comes to matters of the heart. Sometimes we just have to trust our gut and hope we're making the right choice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.